All right, the property prequel, be in the know before you buy. Today it is Q&A, Ask Matt series, strength to strength each week. Been loving it. It started off as a bit of a pipe dream here with Jamila. Does a lot of our marketing and a lot of the groundwork at the Srama Group, and amazing co-host for our Q&A, Ask Matt series. And it started off as a bit of a pipe dream, didn't it, Jamila? And it's starting to go from strength to strength. People really enjoy it.
Yeah, the response and feedback has been amazing. So we've decided to stick at it for now.
Yeah, stick at it. I reckon at the cadence, probably once a month at the moment. It's been good. If you do want to leave a question, where these questions come from, by the way, is I put up a little story every 3 weeks or whatever, just a bit of a Q&A, and then we'll actually get the questions from there. And then I answer them on the Instagram feed, and then I'll dive a little bit deeper in these series. So if you don't follow us, Matt_Srama, check it out. If you want your question answered, or you got something, anything, property, business, personal, whatever, jump on there. We've been getting really good feedback, so really do appreciate it. And all the listeners really appreciate, as always, a lot of the love. Last episode, the feedback was epic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really good.
Eddie and Perry. Check that one out. If you're someone looking to do like a renovation, development, they were just battlers here on the Gold Coast, and they're doing amazing things in property. So go back and listen to that one if you haven't already. But Jamila, let's dive deep. What do we got today? We got 6 of the best questions what we picked. Let's rip in, eh?
Let's get the ball rolling. All right. So for your first question, what is your personal goal with your property portfolio, and what type of properties are you buying at the moment?
Love it. Look, I'll put it this way. I always look at property in 2 phases, and let's just peel it back. So this is to do with investing, not owner-occupied purchase. I always like to split the 2 because they are very different in the way you communicate it. So I'm assuming that question is to do with, property portfolio. So I'm assuming my investing journey. So to give you a little bit of insight, I've been investing for over a decade now, and been loving it. Always aggressively wanting to go better and more, but that's not the goal. The goal is actually to have a passive income that allows choice, and that at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. I see too many people, and I'll touch on it in a second, the accumulation rather than the consolidation as well. So that brings me to my first point around people who want to build a portfolio. Is there's 2 phases, I think, and to keep it super simple, there's the accumulation phase, and then there's the consolidation phase. Accumulation, consolidation. And what I feel is people need to understand that in order to get something scalable, to get a passive income, to live off and have more choice in your life, I feel you have to go through both of those stages. I see a lot of people striving for property investment goals that only focus maybe on accumulation, but there has to come a point where you consolidate, and people don't talk about it enough. Like, it's like there's like an ego thing on how many properties you own, but I always find it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality of the asset. And everyone's got a different number in terms of their passive income goals, right? So there should never be a metric of comparison where you're looking at someone, I need to get to X amount of properties. Have a workout what's comfortable passive income to you, and then work backwards from that. So that's first little tip there, is focus on either accumulation or consolidation. I feel whilst you're young, you really want to go on the accumulation phase. So in terms of my own portfolio, to answer that question, I'm still in accumulation phase. I've been accumulating for the last sort of 12 years and just building up a bit of a portfolio. And the strategy within the accumulation phase has changed. So early on, and I wholeheartedly believe this, that you should be focusing on growth assets. Now, you might hear the term, Jamila, capital growth versus rental yield. It's a common one in the property world. I believe, again, everyone's got their own opinion. I believe if you're young and you're starting the property journey, you really want to focus on capital growth.
Capital growth.
Capital growth, because rental yield will help you hold a portfolio. Capital growth will make you wealthy. Right? And the reason I love capital growth while you're young is because you've got a few decades up your sleeve. Right? So when you're in that accumulation stage, you really want to building assets that are going to grow in value. So then you've got some, good growth, good equity you can pull out and play with as you get older. For me, I did that for the last 12 years. And now within the accumulation, I've shifted a little bit. I've got some really good high growth assets I feel that have done really well around Southeast Queensland surrounding. And now I'm focusing a little bit more on what's called cash flow, so rental yield. And the reason is this. I'm doing it more so because I'm going to increase my borrowing capacity because I've got some really good growth assets. Now I'm going to basically balance it out with more cash flow. So it'll enable me to go back to the bank continuously over the next few years to aggressively accumulate for the next, I'd say, 3 to 5 minimum for me. And then I'm 32 now. I feel once I get to 35 and 40 bracket, I'm really going to be considering consolidation. And consolidation is things like selling and using the profits to pay down some of those other properties. So that just gives a little highlight to people. Hopefully that adds some value into accumulation versus consolidation. And for me, I'm still in accumulation, focusing now on more cash flow assets because I've done the reps and got the capital growth. And cash flow assets for me at the moment, I'm looking a bit more riskier per se, a bit more regional cities, but still not like mining towns, but more regional centres. Unit blocks I'm looking at. I'm building a granny flat on one of my properties in Brisbane at the moment. All they are going to do is I'm going to inject some cash flow buffers into my portfolio to enable more borrowing capacity to keep going. And that's where I'm at the moment. And yeah, who knows in the next, I say I'll consolidate in a few years, but who knows, right? But I feel just where I am in terms of my personal life and whatnot, I think I'm definitely big on paying down debt.
Fantastic advice. I love that. I feel
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Accumulate and consolidate. I keep it as simple as that. What phase are you in? So, yeah, hopefully that makes a bit of sense.
Yeah, definitely adds some value. Thank you for that. I feel like I'll take a few pieces.
Take a bit of that.
Pieces from that and
take a bit of that in. 100%.
Amazing. Well, should we move on to
what do we got? Yeah, what do we got as the
nice and
the next question?
All right. What have we got? So, 3 business skills you're trying to master at the moment. Wow, I like that one.
3 business skills trying to master at the moment. I had to think about this. And number 1 would be communication.
Yeah.
Number 2 would be winning back time. Number 3 would be leadership.
Love it.
And I'll just dive a little bit deep into each 3 of them.
Go for it.
I think I put this as number 1 because I think in the last 12 months, I've realized how impactful it is to be able to speak properly. And the difference is this. I find tonality, non-verbal things like body language, using different things in your cadence and your speed. I've just been doing a lot of studying and research on just pure communication. And I've found a real observation that a lot of the business leaders I look up to are really good communicators and that they're very influential because of the way they can talk. And I feel some people have got a really good message, but they can't deliver it with impact purely because they haven't learnt how to communicate effectively. So I'm really trying to learn that. I'm just all in with it and really trying to improve the way I talk every single week, listen to podcasts about it. I attended a thing called Toastmasters a few years ago, which opened me to the whole idea. Shout out Toastmasters. I stopped going, but I'm thinking I really want to go back now.
I wouldn't mind going, actually.
Yeah, I think you'd really enjoy it. If anyone doesn't know Toastmasters, basically it's a group that you go to and it's like training for public speaking. And what I took away from Toastmasters was, again, tonality, pauses, filler words, things like that, and the power to speak in front of people. It was as simple as that. They say one of the biggest fears in life is, up there with death is public speaking.
Well, I think when I was younger, even speaking to a group of 5 people, I'd
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah.
straight to the bathroom, hyperventilating,
Literally.
like not something that I was good at all. So definitely.
And a lot of people struggle with it. And this is what I've learned studying it more and more, is that the best speakers still have the nerves. The best
yeah.
speakers still get sweaty palms. The best speakers, though, understand how to manage those feelings and triggers. And then they can deliver their message. So it's not about the feelings going away. I found out it's about knowing how to manage those feelings, but still deliver effectively.
And maybe having some tools as well, I feel like
100%.
before you do go out and you speak to a crowd or do some training, it's important to
Oh,
implement
definitely.
some box breathing.
Box breathing, yeah. We did a session with the team yesterday around box breathing and just getting you present and getting back in that sympathetic state. But I feel with business and communication, why it's so important. If you're in business, you're selling. You're selling a product to add value to a person or a clientele or something that is going to exchange money for that value, right? If you've got the best product available and you don't know how to communicate your value to someone, you won't be as successful in business.
Yeah, you miss the boat really, don't you?
In any business, right, there's team. There's growing a team, scaling a team. As you grow, you need to be able to communicate your mission and values to the team to get the best out of them. So you need to be able to influence others. And again, you could have all the knowledge, but if you can't communicate properly with purpose, it's gonna, it's not gonna be as sharp. So that's what I mean. I've been really, really mindful of it. One little key tip is this. I've been trying a lot with like tonality and pauses. You might notice I've really been, I was a huge and ahra, like filler words
I
for
think
days.
I watched a video of when you were younger and there were a lot of, back in your footy days, a lot of ums and ahs, and you definitely have come a long way.
It was crazy. And then like, I'm really blessed, like from a young age, 19, 20, getting interviewed, they just throw you under the spotlight and you're just like, no one teaches you how to talk or anything. It's just like, credit to the boys and stuff like that.
It's very different to how you
different now. And like,
approach it all.
and I've just been doing a study. So filler words is number one. Here's some really impactful tips, hopefully for people wanting to learn to communicate better and improve that skill. I think number one is trying to limit filler words. And I do this with my team as a little exercise. Just record yourself like a voice note when you're trying to deliver a message, maybe to a client or a friend or whatever it is, or to your team. Maybe record it first, then play it back, and then get a pen and paper and count how many ums and ahs were evident in that, 30-second to 1 minute chat. And I like to do this one just to bring, all it does is bring awareness to the amount of filler words people use. Second tip on the back of that then is, instead of saying and ah, don't say anything.
Very powerful.
Very, very powerful silence and being able to not fill the space. And then like, have a go at counting it, and then have a go at, instead of saying and ah, just create space. And it creates more impact. That'd be second. And then my third favorite one at the moment I've been playing around with the last few weeks has been playing with your tone and difference between finishing your sentences on the high versus finishing your sentences on the low. And
I can see what you just did there.
yes. So finishing on the high can create some space for you to continue on and keep people engaged. So when I bring my punchline or the thing I really want to create impact on, I can finish it on the low and create the space around it to hit home the message hard. So have a go with playing around with those 3 exercises with communication. I think that's definitely the number one skill I've been trying to master at the moment. So number 2 has been winning back time. So big one in our company at the moment, we're restructuring a lot of our systems and SOPs and standard operating procedures, processes. And what I've realized is this: you can actually win back so much time by using things that are available to the everyday person right now in 2023. Things like AI, remote professionals, like offshore professionals, automation as well. Like, don't be surprised the amount of automation there is in the world now. Like, very, very simple things to just win back time. And I find so many people do so many little tasks where it might not seem like a lot, but you calculate all them minuscule tasks over your day, then into your week. You could potentially be capitalizing 2 to 3 hours per week just on stuff. You know what I mean? So I think number one we've been trying to do is document and record every single process that happens within the business. I'm talking everything. I'm talking a client calls in the business for an inquiry. That has a system. Then that we have a procedure on what happens on that call. And then what happens after that call. And then what trigger is being sent to them, whether an email or whatever. And then a booking system when they want to book in for a chat. And then a Zoom link. Like there's just label it all. And what you'll find is you'll look at the whole thing and you'll realize that actually you'll circle like 4 or 5 of them. You're like, could I use AI or automation through a CRM to get rid of that? Big time. Like
100%.
Or get a remote professional or an admin person part-time, pay them to win back time, because you've got to know what your dollar per hour value is. And if it's more than it would cost to hire someone to do that task and delegate, well, then you should outsource it. So that's a big one. Having a look at systems and procedures and trying to win back time. And just a quick little one, hopefully this adds some value. We've been using a tool called Loom, Loom. I know a lot of people probably know about it, but on Loom now, they've got like AI features as well. So Loom is basically a place where you can record and document all your procedures on there and then use it as a bit of a training hub. So if you've got a new employee, you do exactly what you normally do. Get Loom doing it in the background, watching you and recording it. And then Loom will basically document it all for you, put in this like step-by-step. It'll just know when you've said step-by-step. And then you could get someone to watch that back. So Loom's a really good one. And then the third skill is, just general leadership. Like, I'm really enjoying leadership. Got a really good team that I'm really grateful to have. But what I've noticed is the more I can help serve them and improve their businesses, the more impact we can make as a whole team. So learning things on what it takes to be a good leader, leading from the front, my actions are really important. Not just what they can see, what are my actions behind the scenes, because good leaders are people that other people aspire to look up to and follow direction from. So without good leadership, I feel there's no company procedure, company projection. Like if you really want to get somewhere, I feel you've either got to lead from the front, or if you don't feel that's you, get someone else to lead.
Yeah.
So everyone needs leaders.
Well said.
Everyone needs leaders. So but they're the big 3: communication, winning back time through automation and AI, and just general being able to lead well.
Well said.
They're my favorite.
Good value.
My favorite 3.
I definitely feel that you stick to them as well. I've definitely noticed that.
You reckon?
I feel with your leadership as well, you do pour a lot into your team. So you do want to get the best out of them. So I feel like you lead, but then you also make sure that you pour as much as you can into your team to be able to carry themselves and then become a leader, I feel, down the track or within their business, within your business. So
it's a good point.
I think you have a very, what's that saying? You talk the walk or walk the talk?
Walk the walk. Talk the talk, maybe?
I don't
no,
know.
you don't talk the talk. You
don't talk. You walk the walk. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so I feel like
I heard something somewhere. The greatest form of leadership is being able to give someone the confidence to be able to lead themselves, like to be a leader within their own right. I feel you do that
really, really well. Yeah.
I feel, and part of that is being able to let go to grow. Some founders get in their own way.
Well, they treat it as, I think we've spoken about this before, too much of their baby, and it becomes too no, I don't want you to look after my baby today. Like
yeah.
I'm in control. So, and then that's when like the micro overlooking. So I think, I mean, it's hard in business, but I
Very
think
tough.
you have done really well at trying to pull yourself back and allow people to grow within your
It's
company.
tough. It's a very tough thing. People won't realize if you do want to grow a business is the ability to actually let go. It's very, very tough. So I'll get it totally wrong, but Richard Branson said something like the
Can't be
goal
as
is
worse
to
as
hire
mine.
the goal is to hire good people in the right seats
Yeah.
and then get out of their way.
Wow, I love that. I really like that.
good,
I
eh?
definitely, that's you through and
Yeah.
through, what I can see.
Trying my best, but yeah, I'm immersed in it and trying to learn. So
Okay, we should
all part of it.
probably get on to number
What do we
3.
got? What do we got?
All right,
Sorry,
so
I love those topics.
we've got in my 30s and I want to build a portfolio. Best way to get equity via property.
Like it. I'll put it simply like this. Let's actually think of the term. Sorry, that sounded weird. Let's think of my mind's going here, but
it's
I've
moving
got it.
too fast for you.
I've got it. Think of equity levers. Equity levers.
Sorry, I've got tears coming down my face. Okay,
all right.
we're back.
I'm gonna bring it. Watch this tonality. I'm gonna bring it my best. Yeah, I think equity levers. Focus on equity levers. I want that word to stick. So equity levers are something you can pull that are going to boost equity within the property. So via property, I feel, because there's different equity levers in all different asset classes. I feel in business, there's equity levers. Potentially, I don't do Bitcoin or anything, but there might be equity levers in Bitcoin. But let's talk around property here. The 3 biggest equity levers, I feel, if you want to extract equity, would be number 1, cosmetic renovation,
Which you spoke about.
which I love. I actually built a lot of my portfolio purely on this lever alone. All I did always was buy things under market value, a little bit rough, good locations, and then all I would do was get in there and do a paint, carpet, blinds, some fans,
Bit of a facelift.
and that's it. And clean up maybe a door handle here and there. Like didn't knock down walls. That's out of my league when I was younger. So, and that would be huge equity levers. Very, very simple equity levers. Why it's a lever, right? You spend, say, I remember one of my renos, it's probably different now because of the cost of trades, but I think I spent like 10K during COVID. I actually used some of the relief fund or whatever it was. I actually put it towards a renovation because I felt I was going to get more return on my money than keep it in super. I'd put it into a renovation and it worked a treat.
Took it out of your...
Yeah, I took partial out and put it straight into a reno because I had time. I did it myself with a bit of a crew. Anyways, spent around 10K. Let's call it 10K. Not that much at all. Paint, carpet, new kitchen, new flooring, few fans, few blinds. That was it. Didn't change external, whatever. I increased the rent by about $60 a week, and the overall asset value, I purchased this property for like $310, and then when I did the reno, plus the growth, so I was about a year and a bit on, probably valued closer to 500.
Wow, there you
So
go.
there's an easy equity lever to pull on, cosmetic reno. Super clean, super basic. So that's my favorite, especially I think this person said they were in their 30s. So
Yes.
yeah, super basic. That's equity lever number 1. I think another equity lever, bit more advanced, subdivision and chucking a DA on a property. So good example, like I remember in my early days, I was buying a few properties up in Brisbane in some of the suburbs, probably 20, 30 kilometres away from the CBD, more that outer ring. I know around that Logan stretch as well, there were some big blocks. I'm talking like 800 to 1,000 squares. And I remember chatting to town planning and council, hot tip, or if you are going to do this, you must have a good team. But some of the blocks I found out what you could actually subdivide. So the house could be placed at the front of the property and then you could cut either the side or the backyard off and sell that portion of land.
Yes. Yeah.
Or you could get the approval to do that, right? And then sell the whole asset as a house plus the option to sell off the backyard or side of the home. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
So
Yep.
all of a sudden that cost to get the DA done, you've added that and injected it back into that whole property asset which you bought. So you've essentially pulled a lever of equity. So when you sell, you've sold it for an X amount of gain there. So that's another easy one that I see people doing is subdivision or adding a DA. Small caveat, get expert advice in that area. Town planners, council, a lot of things. I would never, ever buy something on the hope that you could subdivide.
Yeah.
You need to get your due diligence done before you sign, big time. And then the third one is, I feel, adding additional, just changing the overall scope of the property from, say, a 3-bed to a 4-bed. I think that's a nice, easy equity lever as well. So looking at the floor plan, could you potentially extend or add one extra bedroom, or could you convert a section of the home and put a door in and have the measurements right where it was already an established space for a room, but it just wasn't labeled as a bedroom? That's another one I see people do well too. And then they might utilize, say, a laundry space that backs onto a bedroom and then put a bathroom next to it. So all of a sudden a 1-bath turns into a 2-bath. So all of a sudden we've gone from a 3-bed, 1-bath to a 4-bed, 2-bath. Completely different price point.
Love it.
So that would be my favorite 3 equity levers to pull on if you're trying to get some equity through property.
Epic. I keep saying good advice. It's all good advice.
Yeah, no, I know you're new to the property world, so to speak. I know you,
so it's great
I
for
always
me.
get good feedback from you because at the end of the day, our listeners are all different. Some have never heard of this stuff. Some are very advanced. So I try to kind of give a little bit of advance, but also try and dumb it down a bit as well for people.
For me. Just for me.
That's good.
Amazing. I'm sure that would have added a lot of value to many people. So let's get a move on to the next question around blue chip strategy versus market timing with hotspots. And what's your opinion?
Okay, so blue chip, for anyone who doesn't know, so blue chip, well, the word blue chip is just like a term, I guess, I don't know how you could define it. Just like blue chip, solid, like bread and butter, very high worth kind of thing, that's blue. I remember when on my footy days and I'd chat to recruits and scouts and stuff, and they'd see a really good player and they're like, he's a blue chip. He's a blue chip kid.
That's a great way to...
Yeah, so you know what I mean? It's just he's a blue chipper. So in property world, blue chips what you would envision as a really good property is blue chip.
Love
So
it.
we live on the Gold Coast. We're recording this on the Gold Coast. Easy one, blue chips, really strong area like Palmy, Burleigh, main good street or on the beach, close to the beach, family home. That's a blue chip property. So what this person is asking is, should we go blue chip strategy or go with timing the market and trying to find a hotspot? So what a hotspot is, for anyone who doesn't realize, I actually don't really like the term, but hotspot is essentially you've picked something before it becomes hot kind of thing, or it's something that's a lot of people don't know about. So another example, first thing that comes to mind, let's use the footy example. Maybe this kid that no one's watching. So everyone's looking at the blue chip kids.
Yep.
Then there's this kid on the backfield and you're like, oh, I like this kid. He's a bit of a hot, this field over here is a bit of a hot spot. There's some potential in this area. So that's I guess a bit of an example. So a lot of people have called on, I know Tasmania was a hot spot a few years ago. Brisbane was a hot spot a few years ago when Sydney and Melbourne were blue chip. Gold Coast is starting to become a hot spot. So that's what I think this person's asking, should we go there or there? Look, it really depends. I think, firstly, 2 parts I don't know about this person: age and borrowing capacity.
Yes.
Very big variables. Because if they were in their 20s, my advice, again, not financial advice, but just my opinion, for my advice to that 20-year-old would be far different to the person in their 50s because they're
Fair.
at different ends of the cycle in life. The person in their 20s, I would actually say, focus on blue chip if you can because we want to get that capital growth, not over one cycle, not over two. You could potentially hold that thing for 3 full cycles. So that's life-changing for that young person. Because let's rewind. If you bought a property, smack bang, blue chip Gold Coast, say in postcode 4220, 4221, 30 years ago, you would be one very wealthy person, right?
You're not
It's as
wrong.
simple as that. Now, if we go back 30 years ago and that same person decided to try and pick hotspot based off some random site, who knows what could have. Some people thought hotspots were these mining towns and they had huge growth, but then they're lacking the fundamentals of a blue chip property: location, economic drivers, employment growth, just the simple stuff, amenities, schools, transport nearby, super simple stuff. So that my advice would be not knowing age, you need to know that, and also borrowing capacity, because again, you may not be able to afford any blue chip with your borrowing capacity. This person may have 4 million to play with, or they may have 400,000. Not sure. It will differ, the advice there. So that's the two thing. But look, I think blue chip should play somewhat a strategy no matter what you do, because I feel the key driver of a blue chip property is location. And I still to this day believe location does 80% of a property's heavy lifting, the dirt. So non-negotiable, you should always have location in there. Now, I feel if you're starting to build a portfolio, and this is what I was saying before in the earlier question, I've moved more into a bit more risky because I've got the blue chips. I've got the things that have been set and forget growing. Now I'm going to try and pick a bit of a hotspot, which I have been. So that kind of answers the question. I feel if you're starting and you want to build something, blue chip, I feel if maybe on your back end, or maybe you are that person in the 50s, 60s, and you want to quick try and back yourself a bit of a cash injection or rental yield, maybe it could be the hotspot. But that would be I'd probably lean more towards the blue chip strategy, if I'm honest.
Great. Love it.
Not financial advice, just opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like to add that one in. Okay, so we'll move on. Do you feel like you want to add anything else to that, or?
No, just, I don't know. I just don't believe in hotspot, the word, by the way. Like, I just feel if it's a hotspot, you've missed it.
Yeah.
In honesty.
Yeah, fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see what you mean there.
Like, you want to be getting into the areas and locking your piece of dirt before it becomes a hotspot.
I 100% agree with that.
So don't follow the crowd and follow the hotspots.
Yeah.
Do the work.
Blue chip.
Find professionals who can identify what drives property growth. Take action. Buy into those areas. Secure it. And then let the others follow and push your asset up in price. And then it be called a hotspot. And you're already on to the next one.
Exactly.
You're ahead of the hotspot, baby. Yeah, that's the goal.
All right. So checklist when looking for your dream home. So I feel like you have spoken about this a few times, but I'm sure you can add a few more little.
I think I like it. Well, I remember we interviewed Darren Palmer from The Block. We actually got him on in a few weeks again, so stick around and watch out for that one. He's a legend. But he actually changed my mind on this. He doesn't believe in the dream home. And I actually tend to agree with him a little bit now that I've become a buyer's agent. I've been doing this for so many years now. Everyone's shifting and changing constantly. Like, I think if you put the tag of a dream home, forever home or whatever, like you kind of capping yourself. I think finding your dream home for where you are at right now, that would be the goal.
Okay.
So I'm going to just
not your
pre-frame that.
Forever home.
I'm going to say just
now.
dream home. If I was looking for my dream home for where I'm at right now in life, what I would be looking at is, am I drawn more to the location or the dwelling?
Okay.
Location versus dwelling. Because what I find after being a buyer's agent for so many years, I ask this question and you get two different answers. So it's a really good place to start. are you more drawn to the location or the dwelling? If there was a property that was ticked all the boxes in terms of the dwelling itself, the interior, finishes, everything, would you sacrifice the location for that dwelling? Or are you so drawn to location and the amenities around a certain location that you would sacrifice the type of property and the dwelling itself to be inside of that street that you really want? So I think that might be number one, a good place to
think
start.
about, yeah.
Obviously you want both, but it's just a good one to start with. Ask what's more important to you, because I've noticed a lot of families, they're more drawn to the, 2 living areas, backyard, kids, pool,
Exactly, yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Young professionals, they're all about cafes, will need to be close to the
Location.
beach, blah, blah, blah. So
Really depends where you are in life.
in life, yeah. And that's
I
why
really like that. I'm really going to
Yeah.
keep that in mind as well.
100%, because again, I'm looking for dream home. The question is, I'm just saying, I'm looking for dream home now for where I am in life. I've got no kids, anything like that. I would say I'm more drawn to location, for example. And what I'd be asking myself, if location is important, I'd be trying to find a home that is or close to or surrounded nearby to all the things that make me happy in life. How far is the gym? How far is the beach, the ocean? Is there like...
The things that you are doing every day, essentially. That you
Is there a
want
golf
nearby.
course or driving range nearby? Is there a good shopping center or organic food shop?
Yeah.
I eat a lot. Is there some cafes? Is there places to walk a dog?
Well, your priorities, right?
Priorities.
Yeah, what priority you want around in the area that you're obviously choosing to
Exactly.
live in your dream home.
Exactly, because I feel to live a dream life, imagine if you were walking distance to everything. Or a short walk.
That would definitely be mine as well, I feel like.
Yeah. Location,
being able to have the gym nearby. Don't know about the golf course,
Yeah.
but maybe a tennis court.
Yeah.
All of those things. So I really like that.
It's just something to ask yourself, and hopefully that adds some value on the mindset around looking for a dream home. Don't put pressure on finding the dream home. Think, I'm going to find the dream home for where I am at in life right now. Because at the end of the day, you could die tomorrow. Enjoy life right now.
I feel like that's really good advice, because from a young age, it's always like you get married, you have kids, you buy the dream home, like the forever
home. Yeah.
And it's so in society, like that home is forever. I don't know about everyone else, but for me, that's how
a lot of pressure.
Saw it. So I think that's a really great way of looking at it. It's not... doesn't have to be forever.
It doesn't have to be forever.
It serves a purpose for now. And
it serves a purpose for now, because at the end of the day, like, you should be living in the now, right? Something I'm trying to always focus on and improve at is
the future's
life is right here, right now, So that's what I'd be focusing on if I was looking for the dream home right now. And if it was the dwelling as well, like, get around to open homes, have a look. So many different styles now, and so many epic builds and styles. Like, there's Mediterranean, there's the Curves, there's the Hamptons, there's Coastal, there's
a bit for
black,
everyone.
there's white, there's greens.
Navy, I feel like Navy's
there's everything, So find out what's important to you with that. Like, do you want the 2 living areas, single level, double level, 3 level? You want a lift in there, So try and think about those things. Create your vibe of the home, and then try and combine that with the area that has all the amenities nearby that are gonna help you live a happier life. That's what I would do. Yeah.
Love it.
Gets me excited. I want
That's
to
got
go
me-
shopping for my own dream home now.
It's gotten me
Jeez,
excited. I'm
yeah.
like, should we go have a little look
I
after
want to
this?
have a look. Yeah.
All right. So we'll I think the last question is ending on something a little bit more personal.
What we got?
I did read the word golf, so this is So we've got your newfound love of golf. Is this going to be a TSG clients and past clients golf day in the making, potentially? That would be a great idea.
It would be a good idea. It's funny.
A bit of an event.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll attend, but
it's funny, right? Like, it's a bit of an inside joke, but the story is, like, I had a golf day, right? And shout out to the crew at Social Lab.
You had a golf day?
I was a part of the Srama Group
I
sponsored.
blame Social Lab for your newfound love
of golf. Yeah. The Srama Group sponsored one of the holes at the Social Lab golf day. And it was like a lightning strike hit me in the back. And I was like, I don't know what it was. all of a sudden I love golf. And I used to play NRL and stuff, and we went on so many golf days. I hated it. I was like,
I do remember you saying like, I'm not a big fan of golf. Like,
full
I'm
18. Are you serious? Like, I couldn't think of anything worse. And then I don't know what it was. And maybe it was I hit a few good ones, and I got that dopamine
You've
hit.
seen the light.
I seen the light, and I kid you not, the next week, it was like the stars aligned. I bumped into someone at an open home, and he's a mad golfer. And I said, I went to this golf day and I really want to get into it. And he said, there's a shop in Burleigh, Drummond Golf, like that has all golf stuff. And I was like, really? And literally from that open home,
straight to the golf
I
shop.
went from the open home to Drummond Golf, parked in there. I went in for a look, and I came out with a new set of clubs, my first glove, hat, like the full shebang.
You went all
I
out.
went all out, got some balls, tees. I did it all. I was like, I have no option but to commit to learning this sport. So that was about 4 or 5
That's
weeks
actually a
ago.
good way. Like if you are into it, it kind of motivates you. I've spent the money now. I've got no choice.
Literally. And there's a key tip for anyone. If you're trying to take up a hobby, invest the money into it, because you'll feel bad if you don't take it up now.
You're just gonna
So I
feel guilty.
forced myself to literally buy these brand new clubs. I've never swung a club really in my life, never owned a set of clubs, and I just paid for it all up front, and it's like, yup, we're on. And what I found is this. I've been doing a lot more research again on hobbies and stuff. And I realize I work hard and I really enjoy what I do, but I also need to create more space for hobbies and time away from business. And the thing I love around golf is that you can nearly combine the two. I found out when I started getting into it, I was getting invited to networking and like, hey, come have a hit. So it turned into like, instead of going for a coffee, let's go for a hit. So I'm still working on my business essentially whilst learning a sport that I love. So I've got it in my calendars now. Like before I start work on a Wednesday, I'll go do a lesson kind of thing, or driving range. I'll play on Sundays now with some friends, good connection with friends. And I love just being able to get away from the phone and learn a skill. And I think being a competitive person in nature, it's got that back a little bit too. And very humbling. Like I'm no good at it, but I'm committed to the process. So it's kind of like one of those things where I'm starting back at like literally zero, and I'm seeing growth week on week, like my technique and things like that. So my goal is I want to get a handicap, and I want to be legit next year. Like that's my goal, but I'm committed for the next while. So to answer that question, I would love to have
Hey, it's a great
I didn't
idea.
realize how many people play golf too. It's crazy. So the Saramba Group Golf Day, who knows? So yeah, it all started as a little bit of a hobby, and now I'm really enjoying it, and it's actually been benefiting my business journey, not only from a networking point of view, but an energy preservation point of view. I can go away, recharge, and be better for my clients, my team, and the wider community as a business owner. So, and process. You know, I love a process. I love kind of learning something, studying it, and then implementing. So, shout out to Social Lab, get me on that train, and anyone wants to have a hit me up, slide in the DMs, go for a hit.
Amazing.
Yeah. No, it's is that all we got?
That's
good.
all the questions that we've got. There was a little bit more around property and business, which was great.
Love it.
And less on the personal, but I guess the golf, love that little insight.
Love a little, yeah. No, it's like literally, if you got any tips or anything, let me know too.
You're up for all of feedback as well.
I'm drowning in feedback. I love it. Like hit me and don't be nice. Like a lot of my mates are like, man, you need to fix your swing up, hey. But
that's
all
what's
part
going
of
to
it.
get you to where you need to be. So honesty is key, right? So I love it.
100%.
I'm really, really keen to check in with you next year in our Q&A and see where that handicap is. So I'm keeping you accountable.
Keep an eye out for the golf day too. But yeah, Jamila, really appreciate your time as always.
Thanks for having me.
If you do want a question answered, there were some really good ones there, diving deep on some nice business things, but also property. Like,
yeah, I really loved this.
I love how many people are getting into the property space, and the only way you get better is by asking the right questions. And I do this all the time with people that are a lot further than me. I'll just ask questions. So if you have got a question around business or property or just anything for that matter, be on the lookout. Chuck us a follow. You'll see it. Ask Matt Q&A series. You'll see the little boxing. Throw it in there. We'll pick a few, dive deep on. And as always, share the love. If you found any value out of this episode at all, let me know and tag someone in it. And appreciate you listening in. Have a great day.